listening to Ring Chronicles with Lance Vaughn and Glenn Ritchie.
All right, man, we're back. What's going on?
Welcome back.
All right, so we haven't had as interesting of a week as last week. But I think we'll make it through anyway.
Yeah. We did have a delay in production, though. I got off from work, and I was tired.
Yeah.
And Lance took a nap.
Yeah.
Because we're old.
Old as fuck. Can't expect us to do this at the end of the day on a Friday.
Yeah.
It's time to go to bed.
It's too much. You gotta sleep. Gotta take our Bengay and apply it to our aching joints.
Oh, man. All right. So any errors or omissions from the previous week?
None.
Okay. I know you've been keeping up on X.
Yes.
How's that been going this week?
So first of all, I want to give a shout out to our followers.
Okay.
We got 11.
Okay.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
We got Maya, which I think is a fake spam, like one of those like catfish accounts or something.
Yeah.
Barrett Neal, which I think is also a fake account. Barrett is a female. So
okay.
I mean, the profile was made in August, and there's nothing mentioned in the profile.
Right.
So it makes no sense. Nothing about wrestling or anything.
Well, to be fair, our profile was created in August.
Yeah, but we're not redirecting people to our OnlyFans, Lance.
Well, maybe we need to get an OnlyFans.
I'll film if you'll be the main attraction.
we could be missing out there. I don't know.
We probably are.
We could be leaving followers out there.
Yeah, we probably could attract a better audience. Maybe not the audience we want, though.
Probably not.
There's Mir. I think that's how he says his name. He's a wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. He's got a pretty good head about things, I think. I agree with him on a lot of things.
Okay.
There's Anna. Mm-hmm. I once again, same with her as well.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy C81.
Mm-hmm.
That he's another one of our new followers. Soda Punkkinski.
Okay. That comes from Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Oh,
Soda
I
Popinski.
remember.
Soda
I remember.
Popinski.
Yeah. That, as a kid, I thought he was drunk.
Well, remember he had the bottle with the XXX on it. Remember? He was drinking it in the corner. Yeah.
But they probably couldn't say it was moonshine.
Right.
Because it's a kid's game.
It's soda instead.
Janet Cowdrey. I don't know about her. There's R.I.P. Bray Wyatt. Everly, which I think is also a fake account, has a beautiful woman with her back turned towards the camera.
Can't trust it.
Wrestle Novo has been following us for quite a while, and the Wrestling Savant, who's also known as the guy who likes Vince Russo,
right,
who is our, as far as I know, our consistent listener. I don't know of any other consistent listeners.
I don't know. Maybe there are. I mean, when I'm seeing the numbers go up every time I post clips.
Really?
Not by a lot. I would say every time I post a clip, we might get one more listener on the podcast. And
really?
What's interesting is I think they're listening to more than one episode. I could tell that there was a pattern, especially with the women's episode. That became bigger than I thought.
Really?
The two women's episodes have far outgrown the episode we did on Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt.
Really?
Yeah. So not only not as many listened to part 2 of the women's episode, but it's close. So people have been interested in that one.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to go back and do some more historical stuff.
Maybe.
Since that particular episode is the one that's kind of caught fire.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I see on TikTok that a good number of people go to the profile, which I'm assuming is to get the link to the podcast itself. I mean, typically that's why you go to the actual profile page. But I mean, I'm just trying to keep posting, and we keep getting more followers little by little.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And there has been some profile views on the Twitter or X or whatever.
Nice.
So that's we've been getting some people on there that's been reacting. Obviously, posting during an actual show is getting more.
Absolutely.
Which I probably won't have too many posts on Collision because I'm here doing the podcast.
And Collision is happening. Does it start at 7 or 8?
8.
Starts at 8. Okay, and it's 7:21 on a Saturday night as we record this. So.
Which I found out that Julia Hart will probably not be wrestling for a while because apparently she got married.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry she wasn't considerate of your feelings. It's so disappointing.
I know.
By the way, you can put that mat over there or something. Anyway, yeah.
So I just get on the bandwagon, the Julia Hart bandwagon, and she leaves.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Oh my God. Okay. So,
by the way, speaking of Julia Hart, I was surprised I haven't heard your opinion on Tony Storm's new gimmick.
Okay. I want to say I like Tony Storm.
I do too. Yes.
But this gimmick, I've been cautious to comment on it.
Okay.
Because I've only seen it once.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I've been cautious to comment on it because I've heard about it. Yeah. I've seen it once.
Yeah.
I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
What is it that she does? She, like silent movies during picture in picture?
Yeah. Yeah. So have you seen her in a match with the gimmick?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So I saw her in a match with, I think it was Kiera Hogan, I think. So she comes out and she starts handing scripts to everybody around the ring. She hands scripts to the commentary team, to the producer, standing in the corner with the headset. And then she got in the ring and handed a script to Kiera Hogan. And she's like, "Can you do this?" And she's looking at it and she's like, "Yeah, I think I can do this." Oh, that's great. And then she tears up the script and attacks Tony Storm.
All right, that sounds like some WWE commentary. That's what it sounds like to me.
Like that. If you remember, it was like maybe 2 weeks ago. I texted something like, I know this isn't a shot at the WWE, but I'm going to pretend like it is.
It is.
I don't know.
It is a shot at the WWE. I mean, there's no way that it couldn't be.
So they took a whole gimmick just to take a shot at WWE.
Perhaps.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
I don't think that's what the whole gimmick's about.
Yeah.
It's just to shoot at take shots at the WWE. But, I mean, to me, it's obvious in that segment that's what they were doing. I mean, what else could they be talking about or referencing?
I guess.
So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'm okay. So when I watch stuff on AEW, I try to be cautious.
Okay.
Because I'm unfamiliar with everything. I'm not completely unfamiliar with everything, but I haven't been an avid watcher of it. But since I've been taking over Twitter, I'm watching it now.
Right.
And I've realized that the more I watch it, there are some aspects of it. Now I want to emphasize some.
Okay.
There are some aspects of it that I enjoyed.
Okay.
After my palate was, matured, I guess.
Okay.
So, let me give you a really big example.
Okay.
The Acclaimed.
Okay.
The first time I saw them, I was like, "This is the stupidest shit."
Okay.
They were going around doing the thing with the scissors, and and I was just like, "What is this?" Then I saw them in the ring. They're great. Billy Gunn is like jacked. I mean, he's far better shape than he should be for his age. And I saw their promo skills. I mean, and these guys, they got over with me. So it took some time, but they got over with me, you know. So even the Mystico match on Rampage, which I got really tired. I had to go to bed after that. And I was struggling to stay awake during the Mystico match, but because, you know, we're old and, and stuff. Yeah. The Mystico match, I wasn't really looking forward to it. But then when I actually saw it, I was like, actually, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. And he wound up losing, actually. That was a surprise. So that is one thing I will say about AEW. Since haven't been watching it for a long period of time and consistently, there are still surprises to me. I'm sure that the longer I watch it consistently, the more predictable it'll get to me. Because unfortunately, when you've watched wrestling since, you know, the early 90s, you pretty much get the pattern pretty quickly. But so, you know, the thing with Tony Storm, I'm willing to give it time, but I don't like it so far.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I am open to it. It might grow on me. At least they're doing something with her. Yeah. You know, which I appreciate that. So for what it's worth, okay? A lot of time AEW just throws somebody on the AEW with their WWE gimmick, and that's it. Yeah. And they're just doing their WWE gimmick, but in AEW. Right. Without a script. Right. So that's generally what happened. So Tony Khan laid off the phone this past week.
That's good.
But Dave Meltzer didn't. Dave Meltzer, there was for the, you know, Dynamite and Rampage, I guess, are filmed together. Yeah. Yep. There was a bump of 2,000 tickets. Okay. But he claimed this bump happened after they did some kind of like buy one, get one, whatever value.
I saw something about that. Yeah.
But the Dave Meltzer gets online. It ain't got nothing to do about that. It's because they advertised Mystico is coming. Okay. First of all, sure. Only your like hardcore AEW neckbeard is going to know who Mystico is. Right. Okay. If you say Sin Cara, then it's that job guy, the WWE. Okay. Nobody knows that he was this megastar in Mexico and, you know, conquered everything. Okay. Right. So I just don't believe that Mystico put 2,000 butts in seats. I think your buy one, get one, whatever deal is what put butts in seats, okay? Right. So, Dave, what are you smoking, man? And then he said, if the AEW beats NXT this week, that'll prove that AEW would have won last week if the WWE hadn't, like, you know, pulled out their legends or whatever. Well, duh. I mean that. Of course, we know that's what happened. Yeah, and it's not like the AEW doesn't pull out their legends. I posted something this Wednesday on Dynamite was the first time that Sting retired in front of under 1 million viewers. It was the first time that Sting retired in front of under 1 million viewers.
And under 5,000 live crowd.
Yeah. There's a bad problem right now. Now, the numbers for Dynamite were actually pretty good. I think they averaged 900,000 something. At one point, they actually got over 1 million in one of the segments. Yep. So that was pretty good for Dynamite, but the arena was half empty. I mean, you could even tell with them trying to hide it. Like, I remember one time they were, like, showing the crowd, and there was, like, this huge section of just empty seats. And this was, like, in, like, where the hard camera, you know, is facing towards, you know, and I'm just like, God.
Well, I actually finished watching Dynamite last night. I hadn't finished it yet. And but I noticed there was a certain camera, and that was facing, like, okay, so if the ring is here and the full part of the arena is here, the empty part of the arena is here, the camera wouldn't go past a certain point. I noticed.
Yeah.
It was like a hard line. It would not cross.
On the left,
showed the empty seats.
Yeah, on the left side of the screen, there's like 3 rows.
Right.
And on the right side of the screen, there's a full arena.
Right. So you got the ringside seats, which are full around it, but they wouldn't go past the ringside seats.
Right.
They wouldn't show anything past that.
Yeah, it's gotten bad.
Yeah.
It's just gotten really bad.
Does it make sense? Okay, so you have subscribed to cable, or not cable, but whatever
Sling
the stream
TV,
is.
yeah.
Sling. Okay, you got Sling. And you've been able to watch a little bit of AEW so far, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so far, that's something I really wanted to ask you. From what you've seen so far, as far as the product on TV that they're putting on, does it make sense for the attendance to be that low? Just based on the product on TV.
See, that's a tough question.
Mm-hmm.
As far as their booking and the way they're handling things, yes, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
As far as like the actual talent they have on their roster, it makes no sense.
Oh, okay.
When you've got Bryan Danielson, you got Adam Copeland, you got what's her name, Saraya.
Yeah.
You got Claudio, you got freaking Malachi, you got Miro, you got MJF, you've got Chris Jericho, you got even the Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
You got all these guys. There's no reason why you shouldn't be popping over 1 million every week.
Right.
And they did when they first started.
Yeah.
But the newness is worn off.
Yeah.
And a lot of casual viewers have dipped out.
Yep.
Okay. Meanwhile, the WWE is filling arenas. They've had to expand seating in some cases recently, I've heard. And well, I mean, you got to look at what's happening here. The WWE is making stars. I mean, mega stars. You got Roman Reigns, of course. You've got 3 very popular faces right now with main event Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, and LA Knight. You've got the Judgment Day faction, and as far as a good heel faction aside from the Bloodline. So there's a lot of things that are pulling people to the WWE. There's just like must watch, okay? And LA Knight, I mean, to be honest with you, I watched SmackDown just for LA Knight, just him by himself. That's it.
Fair enough.
That's all I want to see. You know what I mean? Like, does everybody else just sit back and just give that man a microphone or whatever?
Yep.
And actually, somebody commented when I talked about his promo, and he made a comment about knocking knocking Paul Heyman so his hair would be back to being gray or something like that. I don't know the exact wording or whatever. And somebody commented and said that was a dumb line. And I was like, well, it was probably given to him. And on top of that, this is a guy that I don't think they should do this with all the wrestlers in the WWE. I think some of them need scripts.
Yeah.
But this is a guy that just needs to be given a live mic and a blank script.
Yeah.
Just get the guy a blank piece of paper and a live mic. Well, maybe not give him a blank script. Give him a general direction of what you want. Okay, you're coming out there.
I mean, an outline is to be expected.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You want to hit certain points and get certain things across.
Yeah. You know, promote the pay-per-view, promote your match with Roman Reigns. I think the match with Roman Reigns is too soon. But here's the thing. Right now, anybody that Roman Reigns touches is getting a boost. Okay? As much as I hated to see Cody Rhodes lose against Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes is bigger than ever right now. Okay? Good. And I think it's because of Roman Reigns. We had Roman Reigns defeat Cody Rhodes. Of course, there was interference in the match, which protected Cody Rhodes, made him look good. It just makes everybody hungry for another Cody Rhodes-Roman Reigns rematch. But when he was supposed to be working towards getting his rematch, Brock Lesnar came in. Then they started this feud with Brock Lesnar, and it wound up being a best 2 out of 3 feud or whatever. So, the Jey Uso. I mean, he's bigger than he's been in his whole entire career. He lost to Roman Reigns. So, I mean, he's not burying talent right now. So, unfortunately, I predict that LA Knight is going to lose against Roman Reigns, but I think it's going to enhance his career. And
I hope so.
And it'll be a dirty victory for Roman Reigns. So
I think so. Okay.
It'll protect LA Knight.
Okay.
Or I doubt this will happen, but they could do a disqualification or some other inconclusive type deal. I just don't see them doing that in pay-per-view. That's more of a WCW thing.
Okay.
So, I don't understand. Well, I do understand why AEW is not doing as well as it could. It has let the inmates run the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
It has this whole situation with CM Punk has put a bad taste in people's mouths.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the guy that likes Vince Russo, hardcore AEW viewer.
Mm-hmm.
He drops it. Now he's watching WWE.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the only one.
Right.
He's not the only one to do that. There's hundreds of thousands of people like him that have just gotten tired of the bullshit.
Yeah.
And the drama and and Tony Khan not running, a proper show, not knowing how to run a proper show.
Yep.
And, people don't feel sorry for him because, he gets online and he talks about bullying and all this other kind of stuff. He's a billionaire.
Yep.
Nobody feels sorry for the guy. Nobody cares. And, Chris Jericho defended the guy saying that, oh, well, he's a billionaire and he's from the social media age and he's going to do what he wants and nobody's going to stop him and nobody should because he's the boss. Well, the boss should try to clean up the image of the company he runs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tied directly. The reputation of the business is tied directly to him.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, people say, well, what about Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon sucks too, okay? That's why he's been taken off of creative.
Yeah.
That's why Triple H is running that.
Yeah.
And he's like he's like a monarch in wrestling.
Okay.
We can't completely get rid of him, but we're going to strip him as much power as we can.
Okay.
And then just, send him a check in the mail and hope that he shuts up.
Right.
Yep. If they could completely get rid of him, I think they would. Or maybe they wouldn't because there's some value. Unlike Tony Khan, Vince McMahon actually still maybe has some value, but not creatively. Mm-hmm. Okay. He sucks creatively. He used to be a megastar on creative stuff. But actually, it's kind of funny. I was listening to, I forgot where I heard this, but I was listening to an interview they did with Vince McMahon in 1983.
Okay.
And this shows you that in his heyday, this guy was a genius. And
Okay.
He was thinking, he was playing chess, and he was several steps ahead of everybody else. And this is 1983.
Mm-hmm.
So this is December of 1983. Hulk Hogan was on the roster, but he hadn't became world champion yet.
Okay.
And they interviewed Vince McMahon, and at this time, nobody knew that he was the owner. People thought he was just an announcer.
Okay.
So they asked him, what does he think the next year has in store for wrestling? Mm-hmm. And he said, he basically prophesied the destruction of the territory system.
Probably because he was trying to destroy it.
Yeah. He basically said there's going to be big changes and a lot of big names coming from other places to the WWE, and it was going to be a time of great turbulence in the wrestling world.
Okay.
And people that are listening to this have no idea what he's talking about.
Right.
And the wheels are just turning in his head of what he's going to do, And he did it. He expanded the WWE to become an international company, and you can't deny what he's done for the wrestling business. Tony needs to find some people that he can trust. Not some self-serving spot monkeys, okay? He needs to find some people, some grounded people that he can trust. He needs to be willing to piss off some of his talent that has just completely just taken over everything, for gone into business for themselves. And he needs to make some changes, and then we won't see half an arena.
Right. Right.
So, speaking of territories,
Yeah.
NWA
Yeah.
is reviving the territory system.
Okay.
But the problem is they only got one territory. So how are you going to revive the territory system when you only got one territory?
I don't know this.
It's not the territory system, it's the territory.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to be gentle with NWA, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to put on the kids' gloves. And,
Okay.
You know, let's box. They got to understand that just sounds ridiculous. Until they get more territories, don't mention anything about the territory system.
Right.
Don't hype that up, okay?
Yeah.
You're getting people excited over nothing. Okay. First of all, the NWA now, for reasons I've discussed in previous episodes, is nothing really much in common with the original NWA. Now, instead of it being a collection of promotions with a shared world champion, it's become its own indie fed. Okay. Yeah. That's not the NWA that we all once knew and loved. It's become a totally different animal.
Yeah.
But they have their rights to the name and the lineages and everything else.
Yep.
Which is very valuable property, by the way, as we talked about a lot with wrestling lineages in the past. Okay. They've got a TV deal with the CW.
Yep.
We don't know the details yet, but that's exciting.
It is.
And the reason why I'm excited about it is, Lance, so I started watching Dynamite, right?
Right.
They had the first match on the card was the El Cerro
Penta.
yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Jay White comes out with his posse.
Yeah.
The Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah.
And before the match even starts, before Jay White even gets to the ring, Penta does this flying tope somersault maneuver onto the whole crowd.
Yep. He did.
And I was just like, my God. They're starting with the flips and the nonsense before the bell even rings.
Yeah.
And then he does the same maneuver again. How many tope suicidas and tope maneuvers and flips and moonsaults and flips do we need in one particular match?
Yep.
Just one's fine.
Yep. Now the Lucha Brothers have been under plenty of criticism while they've been in AEW because there is just simply a different style in Mexico than what you do in the States. And even Chris Jericho has spoken to him. Like, for instance, in tag team apparently in Mexico, when you have a tag team match, you don't have to actually tag.
Right.
Yeah.
One person gets thrown out, the other person comes in.
Right, yeah. And Chris Jericho had to say, hey, you got to actually tag. You know, it's how, it's what we do here.
Yeah, I understand that they might have talked to him, but there needs to be more discussion.
Yeah.
There needs to be more discussion,
right.
Okay? And it wasn't even like a title match or something important. He's just flipping. Okay.
Yep.
So the NWA doesn't do that kind of crazy crap. You don't have 15 Canadian destroyers in one match.
Right.
At least not from what I've seen in the NWA.
Right.
From what I've seen, they wrestle. They have wrestling matches.
They do.
With moves.
Yeah.
And holds.
Yeah.
Arm bar.
Yep. Yep.
Three-handled family credenza.
Yep.
By the way, the three-handled family credenza.
Uh-huh.
Perry Saturn actually to explain that Chris Jericho was feuding with Dean Malenko, who was the man of 1,000 holds, and he went out and said he's the man of 1,004 holds.
Yeah.
And he came up with this giant list of holds, and he was reading them, and like the segment, and then there was a commercial break, and it came back.
He was
still reading. And like every fourth or fifth hold was like armbar. And he threw in the three-handled family credenza.
Yeah.
So Perry Saturn actually took that name and made it into his finisher.
Okay.
So interesting.
My favorite was the Saskatchewan spinning nerve hold.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Speaking of Chris Jericho, maybe Chris Jericho is someone that Tony Khan should actually listen to,
Well, maybe, but it's like you said, Chris Jericho got up and said he's the boss and nobody can tell him what to do. So he's of no help if he really thinks that,
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris Jericho could help turn the place around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the NWA.
Yeah.
It's probably going to become the third biggest wrestling promotion in the country. And we find ourselves in a similar position to what we had, although nowhere near as big, because AEW. Well, actually, AEW and WCW do have a lot in common, including like low ratings and poor ticket sales.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a little bit more similarity there than I realize. So, in the late 90s, we had WWE, WWF, WCW, and eventually we even had a big three.
Yeah.
We had ECW.
Yep.
ECW had a deal on TNN. They had they were on pay-per-view. Okay, I understand the Impact, TNA Impact was on TV, but it got nowhere near as big to call it like the big two.
Right.
Only AEW has done that.
Right.
It's the only one that's gotten big enough to claim to be an actual competitor with the E. Okay, even I acknowledge that. So I'm hoping that the NWA becomes a competitor with these two organizations.
Yeah.
And maybe it can compete with AEW and make their stuff better,
Yeah.
I think NWA is going to have some pretty good people in this fan base. People like old school wrestling.
Yep.
Okay, their setup is old school. Just everything about it's old school. They don't need to advertise territories until they get some territories.
Yep.
But it's a start. Maybe they'll actually have this. So
I have a lot of questions about what's going to happen going forward, especially with the CW. I mean, obviously CW is going to have say in the show itself.
Yeah.
And so one thing I love about the NWA, and I'm assuming they're still, now I haven't watched an episode of Power in a while, but it was their 70s, 80s presentation.
Yeah.
Is the CW going to allow them to keep doing that? Because that is, I love that. The intro to the show, the graphics on the screen, the commentators, the interview area. I'm pretty sure now. If it's not, it looks just like it. But it looks like the space. So it's in a studio in Atlanta. So they do all the tapings. It looks like it's the same studio as WCW Saturday Night from back in the day. It looks like the same place.
Well, it's no way that it is.
It looks like, I don't know where it was, but it looks just like it. So you've got one section of seats behind the ring, and then on the other side of the ring, you've got the interview area. So it's like seats, ring, interview area.
Yeah, I doubt that it's the same exact place. I mean, you would probably have to hire an archaeologist to find that place. I
don't know where that studio was. I don't know where this studio is. I don't know, but they made it look just like it.
Yeah.
So
I'm just hoping for some good competition in wrestling. I'm hoping for some like classic wrestling matches. You know, I've got high hopes. But you know, speaking of third promotions. This has brought back a lot of memories, Lance, of ECW.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So anybody that's listened to this podcast to this point, or even just dipped in a little bit, probably would assume that I would have a lot of bad things to say about ECW. And you'd be wrong.
Right.
Now, is there things in ECW that I would never want to see come back in wrestling? Yes.
Okay.
Were there things in ECW that were terrible? Yes. But what I see nowadays are a lot of copycats that don't make it at all.
Right.
What ECW had. Okay. So first of all, I'm gonna explain my first exposure to ECW.
Okay.
My first exposure to ECW was Ian and Axel Rotten, and they had this barbed wire baseball bat. Okay, so according to CageMatch.net, the match between them, barbed wire baseball bat, was at ECW Hostile City Showdown 1995. Ian and Axel Rotten. Okay. So at first I wasn't really impressed. First of all, in 1995, I was 11.
Okay.
My parents probably didn't really pay attention to the wrestling magazines I got a hold of.
Right.
Because here I was at the age of 11 seeing Ian and Axel Rotten, like, you know, blade each other with a barbed wire baseball bat.
Right.
In pictures. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was my first exposure to ECW. And I was just like, what is this? Are they just butchering one another? I mean, it was like seeing something that I knew I shouldn't see.
Yeah.
But it unlike, you know, being 11 and seeing pornography, this wasn't exciting to me.
Okay.
So there was nothing that satisfied my curiosity or anything about this. It was just blood. And I wasn't impressed with it, okay? So my first impression of ECW was that they just had matches like that where just two out-of-shape guys are bleeding each other to death, okay? All right, so as time went on, I actually got the opportunity to watch ECW. And I realized that while you did have matches like that where people were just, you know, beating each other with barbed wire baseball bats and other weapons and, you know, causing blood, you know, there was actually good things with the ECW. So they get a TV deal. And I don't know if it was the first episode or it's the first episode I can remember, but I tuned in to TNN. And the very first match I can remember seeing was Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn.
Yep. I've watched that match recently.
Okay. So, first of all, that was a masterpiece of a match. Okay. Yep. Rob Van Dam was so good that he made the ECW World Television Championship more prestigious than the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
Right.
And if you want to go back and listen to the history of the ECW, you go back to our men's titles history podcast, and I talk about it and explain it in a lot more detail. But Rob Van Dam could put on a great wrestling match and just throw in chairs and stuff with it. Okay? It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. He did the Van Daminator where he throws you a chair and he does a spin wheel kick into your face with the chair. And then he came out with a Van Terminator.
Yeah.
where he put the chair or trash can or something on you, and he goes to, like, you're in the corner, leaning in the corner, and he goes to the other corner and, like, jumps across the ring to, like, kick the object in your face or whatever. I mean, it was just ridiculous what the man could do in the ring.
Yeah.
You had Sabu that, he was an innovator of violence, okay? And another thing that was great around that time was Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka.
Okay.
So Mike Awesome would pick up Masato Tanaka and, like, basically powerbomb him from the ring through a table on the outside. And Masato Tanaka, I mean, if you just look up pictures of him, his forehead's just, like, crusted with scar tissue. I mean, and his body, everything's got scar tissue. They had several matches, and they even had one in the WWE at one of the ECW reunion shows. It was all great stuff, you know. It was great. I saw a New Jack fall off the scaffold.
Yep.
And bust his brain to pieces.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's terrible. Now I'm like, man, they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But back then I thought, man, this is great. You know, I remember I watched that on pay-per-view as it happened. Okay. They had a lot of sexuality in the program.
Yeah.
Of course, now I don't think we should do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But back then, you know, teenage Glenn was
right
into it.
Yep.
You know, they had Kamano Leia dance on the roof whenever they had technical difficulties or whatever.
Yep.
Just to pass time, and it worked.
And it worked.
It worked, and they sold that stuff every time they could.
Yes, they did.
So ECW was, if you're gonna do hardcore, then do it like them. They did it right. But you also had, like, fantastic, like, luchador matches. You had Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis. I mean, WCW and the WWE would just completely raid these guys of talent. They took out Raven, and a lot of talent would spend brief amount of time in there. Would we have had Stone Cold Steve Austin without Steve Austin going to ECW?
I'd say no.
Mick Foley, he went to ECW, refined his character.
Right.
It was a place where people could do things differently. I mean, even Doink went to ECW.
Yeah.
And had the original Matt Bourne and had a run there. The Attitude Era wouldn't have existed without ECW.
Right.
Taz. Look at what the WWE did to Taz. This guy was suplexing people through tables.
Yeah.
And they put him on the commentary booth.
Yeah.
All that by itself should have been a sign of things to come. That we get this guy Taz that is so amazing, and he's just suplexing people through tables, and then we're gonna, like, not let him do anything, and then put him on the commentary booth because we have nothing creative for him. Should have been a clear warning sign that bad things were to come. That should have been like an omen of the PG era.
Yeah.
Lance, what are your thoughts on ECW? I'm running my mouth a lot.
I've mentioned it several times that I didn't start watching wrestling until 98. And I knew of ECW. But one thing I do remember was that they had a pretty good relationship with WWE.
Yeah.
There were crossover stars.
A little bit too close.
Point is, they were friendly for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays it's AEW that's friendly with other promotions. I don't see WWE doing anything with anybody else because I really think they want you to believe they are the only promotion in the world and possibly ever.
Well, do they have to? Do they have to involve other promotions?
No, they don't have to, but
how would they benefit from that?
The company wouldn't benefit, but the fans would benefit by seeing that there's lots of other talent out there. And I think a big part of that is because I think the majority of WWE fans are casual fans, and all they know is what's in WWE, and they don't know of anybody until they show up in the WWE.
All right, so I broke down the AEW fandom the other week, right?
Yeah.
1 million are casual fans.
Right.
500,000 are like non-toxic good fans.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's about 500,000, the 300,000 to 500,000 that are like neckbeards.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So I would say that the WWE has, I would agree with you, it has a much broader casual fan base.
Mm-hmm.
And so, your average SmackDown gets over 2 million views.
Yep.
Okay. Every week, though, I don't think that's the same 2 million people. I think it's different people in and out. I think there's about 1 million people that are solid, diehard. We're going to watch this every week.
They're consistent in watching SmackDown.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. While like in EC or AEW, I think it's probably, as far as the diehard fans, you probably got about maybe 300,000 that are like super hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Maybe about 300,000 that are, like hardcore fans, but they're not like, getting online and trying to dox people. One of the guys I'm friends with on X.
Yeah.
He had this guy that like insulted him and his family or whatever.
Okay.
And there was another guy that responded, and this AEW fan didn't agree with some of the things he said bad about AEW.
Okay.
This guy went to he found out where he worked and sent in a complaint saying that he was bullying people online and making fun of people with depression and all this other kind of stuff. The problem was the company that he was complaining to, this guy was the owner.
Was this past week?
Yeah. So this guy gets an email saying that I'm interested in your company, but I found some disturbing things about one of your employees. He bullies people online.
Oh, man. Wow.
Makes fun of people with depression.
People are getting pathetic nowadays, man.
Yeah, that is pathetic.
That's very pathetic. God damn.
Well, that's one of the AEW neckbeards that's out there. So,
I mean, that goes back to the tribalism you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's like, do you really have nothing else going on in your life to where you make AEW your life? Oh man!
All right, I'm gonna get real for 1 minute.
Okay, all right,
and I'm gonna break character. Okay,
let's do it.
I'm gonna break character.
Okay.
I don't hate AEW that much.
Okay. Calm down, everybody. Calm down. I know that's hard to hear. Calm down.
It's just fun to pick on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now when I saw the flip maneuver, that bothered me.
Yeah.
Right out the gate.
I love that it was right after you subscribed to TV. It's like the first thing they do.
The first thing they do is a flip. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
Yep.
So, yeah, this fan tried to complain to this dude's job and get him fired. That's what these people are doing. Okay, so WWE, I think you got a toxic fan base within it too. I'd say it probably ranges. It's going to be more than AEW because there's just more people. But I don't think their toxic fan base is at least from what I can tell online, is as bad as AEW's. AEW's, I mean, I've never seen anybody like this. Well, unless you listen to Tony Khan, they've got drones flying around his house and people with spy vans and stuff outside his mansion. If you listen to him, there's all kind of craziness that's going on, but I don't see the average WWE fan. The average WWE fan doesn't even post anything about AEW. They don't even know it exists. Or if I talk to them, they just say, yeah, I don't watch it. That's basically what I hear when I talk to a WWE fan that's pure WWE fan. Okay. So I'm a wrestling fan, so I pay attention to everything. I want to know about everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And
That's a huge difference right there, by the way.
Yeah.
You have WWE fans, you have AEW fans, and you have wrestling fans.
Right.
And you see that across like a lot of different sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like, but I mean, it exists in wrestling too. They just buy whatever WWE puts out. I'm not saying there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but it's just some people are just fans of one product, not necessarily the business.
Yeah. And I was an ECW fan.
Yeah.
But I've never been a fan of any hardcore promotion that's come out since then.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're all copycats. They're trying. They can't do it. They don't have the talent.
Yeah.
Although I did like that match where New Jack is fighting Vito or whatever his name is, and like that guy that fell with him in the Danbury Fall or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he tried to throw him off the scaffold.
Yeah.
And like, you know, he lands through a bunch of tables and like literally bounces off the ropes.
Yeah.
And like New Jack's like, yeah, I'll try to kill him.
Yeah.
No, New Jack didn't try to kill him. That's a work, guys.
Right,
okay.
I was trying to kill him.
There's never, but you know, when I was a kid, I believed that crap. When I was younger, when I was younger, I believed that crap. I believed that New Jack was trying to kill that man. You know, I bought it. I wanted to believe it.
Yeah, you wanted to. You wanted it to be real.
Yeah, like the whole thing about like New Jack and like his 3 confirmed kills or however many it is.
Yeah,
there's no evidence to back that up.
Right.
Like that. Now he did bust up mass transit.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah. There was that. Yeah.
Yep, that did happen.
Yep.
Mass transit didn't die, but he about did.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this thing with the NWA, I hope they become a viable alternative. We need all the AEW fans are saying we need an alternative to the WWE. I think we need an alternative to the AEW. You know, I don't want to just turn on wrestling and the first thing I see is a flip, tope maneuver.
Yeah.
That's just not what I want to say. If I wanted to watch that, I would watch Lucha Libre.
Mm-hmm.
I'd find a way to watch Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Lucha Libre. If you want to watch Lucha Libre, watch Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
But and I have nothing against luchadors. 2 of my favorite wrestlers are Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
But the thing that Eddie Guerrero did and Rey Mysterio did that Penta hasn't done and Ray Phoenix hasn't done is they adapted the Lucha Libre style to the American style.
Right.
The Great Muta came from Japan and he adapted his style to the American style. Shinsuke Nakamura has adapted strong style to the American style. Asuka or also known as Kana, has adapted the Japanese style to the American style.
Yep.
You know, and I think AEW even has some people that have adapted styles. Takeshita.
Yeah, take a shit.
Take a shit. I was trying to be respectful.
Well, they said it, not us.
Yeah. I was trying to be respectful. But, I mean, I don't know. That guy, he looks like he could be a big-time star.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Mm-hmm. So, I need to see more of his work, but what I have seen is good.
Mm-hmm.
What else, Lance?
I just hope that the NWA is able to keep their current presentation, assuming it's what I remember. Like I said, I haven't watched it in a while. But they brought along some pretty good talent, 3 or 4 years ago when I was watching in 2019, 2020. Ricky Starks was there. Of course, Eli Drake was there. LA Knight. Who else was there? Nick Aldis, of course, he was the champion at the time. And so I think it's a good. I don't want to call it development, but it's a good place for people to get exposure, I guess. Like that, there was, like I said, there were several guys that I first saw on there, and a lot of it was great, and the wrestling was good, and it was kind of to me refreshing to see that 70s 80s presentation. It's maybe it's just a nostalgia thing for me, but I think you would like it too. Have you gone back and watched any?
I've watched some of it.
Yeah,
and I've obviously have seen the famous Eli Drake.
Yes.
Shoes of a Champion promo.
Yep.
The fact that they let Eli Drake drunk
yeah
get a live mic
Yeah,
says
yeah.
a lot of great things about NWA.
Right. But yeah, I just now I think with this, Billy Corgan's going to come into the spotlight a lot more, just like Tony Khan did.
Yeah.
So we might be sitting here bitching about Billy Corgan soon. I don't know.
Yeah. Tony
know.
Khan might be talking about the Billy Corgan drones that are attacking his mansion.
Yeah. Now, NWA and AEW have worked together. I think it was Thunder Rosa brought the NWA title into AEW.
And what's her
Women's
name?
title.
Serena Deeb.
Serena Deeb, yeah.
She's done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have worked together, so it's going to be
Mhm.
interesting to see how AEW treats them
Yeah.
if they've got their own TV deal.
Right.
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 I didn't know this until recently that Ring of Honor is owned by AEW now.
You didn't know that for real?
No.
Yeah, Ring of Honor. Now, again, I don't want to use developmental, but I think they're using Ring of Honor as their developmental.
Well, I mean, that's what it is then.
Yeah. So
If you don't want to say that's what it is.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that until a little bit after they bought it, because there were some people that just weren't showing up on Dynamite anymore, and I'm like, did they get rid of these people? And then I would see like a promotion for Ring of Honor. They were facing whoever. They did that with Samoa Joe. They sent him to Ring of Honor.
Is Ring of Honor even on TV?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
What were you about to say about Samoa Joe? I interrupted you.
Yeah. So they made Samoa Joe their champion when they first bought it, and he was over there for a while, and then Claudio Castagnoli got it. Actually, I might have that wrong. Samoa Joe might have been the TV champion. I can't remember. I might have that mixed up. But point is that they sent a lot of guys over there, and then you didn't see them on Dynamite anymore for a while. So I guess it's their developmental. I don't know.
I wonder if taking over Ring of Honor has hurt the AEW.
I mean, they're definitely spending more money, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, they got plenty of that.
right. But I mean, you can't. I mean, yeah, they have deep pockets, but I said this, about WCW. WCW's problem, or one of their big problems, that they had more money going out than they had coming in. You can't sustain that for forever.
I don't know, but Tony Khan's got to do something. Something's
Yeah.
got to change.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he needs to respond better to criticism, okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Because not all criticism is bad or harmful.
Yeah.
He's a billionaire. He's probably used to everybody kissing his ass,
Yeah.
accommodating every little need that he has, telling him that he's good and he's great and all this other kind of crap. And now that he's actually doing something that's public, he's getting backlash off of like his crappy ideas and his crappy booking, and he can't tolerate it because he doesn't know how to handle criticism because he's been a billionaire his whole life. Well, Lance, you got any other comments before we move on?
I don't think so.
All right, then. Well, in that case, I guess I'm ready to sign off.
All right. Well, we will see everybody next week.
Peace.